Well, hello there. It is currently 11:17 p.m. at night, and I am going to officially print off the first rough outline of my novel so that I can go through it and edit it, because it's not right. It's not good. The things are not where they need to be. And I thought, why not just take you along with me? I'm sorry that the quality is piss poor. I don't have an SD card for my camera, unfortunately. That's a tomorrow problem. You're sitting on my laptop so I can look at it. This outline right now is 35 pages. I'm printing it double-sided as to not waste that much paper on this. But it needs to be printed because I have a ton of comments in the document. I have a separate document with more comments and more things I want to add. And to be honest with you, I know you're all wondering, Emily, is the outline actually done? And the answer is no. I don't even have the first draft of the outline done. I have two final parts aren't outlined at all. There is not, the final parts of this book, not outlined. But I was working on this in July. Came back and worked on it a little bit in September. Came back now. Realized, hey, I don't know what's happening. I don't know where I am. What is this world again? What is the end outcome? Who's to say, right? I don't know. I don't have anything written down, so obviously I didn't know before, and I definitely don't know now. I don't know why I thought that if it wasn't done in July and August, that it would I would have it figured out by December. So I don't really know what I was thinking. All of this to say, I was rereading the outline and I'm like, you know why I don't have the ending done? Because the rest of this don't make any sense. Now, some of it does. There's a lot of things that do. A lot of things that do not, okay? Like, my whole plan was to go back and re-outline this anyway, so it's fine. I'm going back and re-outlining whatever, or like making edits to the outline, but I need to go ahead and do it so that I can start drafting this book, because I need to do it and I want to. So let's go print this thing. Even if that's not a good idea, I think I should. Right now, at least. Watch me take this to the stage. Boom. We're now officially in my bedroom, which means that I can talk at a normal volume. Here's the sitch. 1, all my pins, pretty sure that they're downstairs, and I'm not going back downstairs as soon as I have reached up here. I'm not going back down. I wanted to do this in red pins so that I could see the difference, and the pin that I've chosen is this one. It's blue. 2, I'm gonna walk you through a little bit about what this outline looks like, because to be honest with you, I don't ever outline. I don't do it. I don't really even know how. Every time that I've outlined, the project has fallen through because I don't know how to outline. And usually whenever I outline, it's because the project exists in such a way in my mind that I cannot fathom what it looks like in full. Usually I'm like a write and you'll figure it out kind of girl. However, different projects take on different forms, and I've realized that I am very much now a mix. For my short stories, I'll start writing them and then get to a point where I'm like, okay, now that I know what's up, let's outline the last half of this, and I'll do like brief bullet points. And does it follow it? Like, sometimes. For books, I've had a lot of like projects that have fallen through, projects that I've been really passionate about, that I like haven't seen come to fruition because the pacing has been off, because I don't really know where it's going. So whatever's happening next, I'm writing on the page, which is lovely in so many senses, and I can't get rid of that. That is just like an innate feature in my writing, is that there will always be scenes that are like exploded out that I don't necessarily think of while I'm outlining. But I've realized that like the reason why I get to the point where I'm like 25,000 words in and realize that I'm like sludging through the very beginning of the book still is because I don't have direction and I don't know my end goal. And the book that I'm working on right now, or the idea, is like very, it's funny because I like don't have the ending, but it's very influenced by like the ending needs to be paid off because of the way that the story is laid out, which is in parts. It is laid out in a before and an after, but not where it's like part 1 is before, part 2 is after. I mean, there's like 15 parts and they go back and forth between before and after, or like not even before and after, it's before and present day. So that's like kind of a lot. And you know what's so funny is that the before parts are actually the best. Reading back through this, the present day is what really is like lucid and weird and disgruntled and doesn't follow suit. And the before parts are very vivid and very clear about what my point of them was and what the point of the scene is. The before parts do not follow in a linear manner. They follow much like how a television show would. Like in my mind, this would work very well on screen and very well on television, but it has to be written as a book because I'm writing it. But the before parts kind of, there's different chapters within each part, and the before parts kind of like follow a syncopated like vignette kind of rhythm. So there's some parts that are like really focused on like specific relationships, but they're not linear. It's like you find out things as you're supposed to in conjunction with the present. It sounds more complicated and more well thought out than it actually is. So like, don't get it twisted. I don't know what I'm doing still. This book takes place in the South. I've never written a book about the South. I've lived in the South my whole life. Never has once been something that even remotely I wanted to set a book around, but this idea came to me and it works really well in like rural, southern South Carolina. Crazy how things like that happen. I also realized that the mystery aspect of this story is like embarrassingly obvious. Like, it's abysmal. I also realized that there's not enough hate and the payoff is absolutely horrific. Like, literally putrid. I go through here and I'm like, okay, like, it's kind of fun, but we don't ever lay the seed. The seed is laid in the same chapter that's paid off. That doesn't... I don't know what story that works for because clearly it's none. So that has to change. And honestly, the first 5 acts of this move way too quickly because originally this was supposed to be a 10-part book and it turned into 15. So obviously adding on an extra 5 parts changes the pacing. So that's something I'm struggling with. But yeah, overall, that's what we're going for. However, it is 11:45 and I'm sleepy, so I don't think this is actually happening tonight, but it does set me up for success that I printed it off. Okay, so I have been working on this for the better part of like some time, but I'm tired. My like eyes are like getting really tired and I need to just go and read because I also know that I'm gonna hit a point in this outline where there are things that I like fully do not necessarily have figured out yet, and things that I did not process that I was going to change until literally now, that are more foundational to like the characters and their relationships and how it's played out in this. I think I made some really good changes that I like a lot, that I think work better and make it less presto changeo magic. Whenever I say that, I mean like that they're all just like automatically on board and they're all just like, I literally wrote this down. I said, we need a dude, we're getting the band back together moment, because we need one of those. I changed a lot about the beginning, which I like. I like literally have this like marked up like to the 9s. I have some ones that are like, this one's not super changed. And then I have one that like, it put a pin in it. Like there's like one sentence for the chapter outline, which is crazy, but I put it in a different document or at the bottom of my like checklist where I was like putting in the questions that I had that I was like, don't know where this is, wondering about this, add this in. Whenever I was like also equally using comments. So I have like, this is the setup, right? I have my document with my like outline and my comments, and my document that has like all of my like, this is my document with my questions. And so I have been using that to make another set of questions, which is like things I need to do before I finish outlining and questions I need to answer before I finish editing this outline. I think so far it's going really good. I've done the first 3 parts and there's 15 parts. Some of these parts may end up getting completely cut because like it may be ridiculous. But I've been using these yellow sticky notes to kind of like, if there's been chapters, I've been like I've added in new chapters, or like I added in one new chapter. And then I also added some more dialogue into something because I changed the entire like layout of the scene. This second part is really long and a lot of stuff happens in it. So I may split that up and put a before part, like move one of my before parts to in between there, potentially. We'll see. Keep you updated. That's my outline journey for tonight. Hello. I don't know how well you can hear me in my earbuds, but I'm not taking them out for this. So I'm back outlining, working on my outline, and yeah, I realized that I can do the before parts for the most part, or at least up through part 3, because it's not affected by the questions that I still have. But I have a document which is like all of the questions I need to answer before I continue to outline. So I'm gonna be working on that next. Okay, so we've hit a very big problem, which I knew I was going to hit because I've read through this outline before, but I didn't realize how bad it was. I have all of these chapters here that don't make any sense being here. They're so early. And then I have 2 before parts back to back instead of having before present. Even if you have 2 presents back to back, like that's fine to me, but 2 befores this early in the book is crazy, and it's just like a lot of backstory very quickly that is not necessarily like needed in that moment in the same way. So I have to figure out where I want to move all of these chapters to. Like I have 3 chapters here that I have to figure out where I want them to move from part 3, and then part 4 is all like I can't even like finish editing it because the title is specific to a character, so like specifically about him. But I don't know like if I should like insert the part after this as a present and move it forward, present day, or add a new present in here and like expand the present parts, and then take my before parts and trim them down excessively and combine some of them, which I was already thinking about doing, is combining some of these, like not having this many parts obviously, and like doing some outtakes about like things that I think are important but not important enough for me to write them. So I think I'm going to put a new present part as a new part 4, which bumps everything down, and then even like cut some of these like befores, because I split them up weirdly. Like, you know, I don't know. That's what we're feeling like right now. Okay, friends. It has been a very long time since I updated you about my writing journey. So let me walk you through what I've been working on, because this video needs to end, and not because my outline is done. Because if you are wondering that, the short answer is no. So, but I'm making substantial progress. I just don't think that I need to record me doing the whole outline. I just think it's going to take too long, and there's whatever. This is a writing update, a writing vlog. Doesn't have to be finished, okay? It just has to be worked on. To give you an update, a brief overview. Last time we talked, I was like, I have some questions I need to answer before I continue. I answered majority of those questions. A lot of them had to do with like big things that I was like, I don't know about this, or there needs to be more depth with this, right? And I got to the point because I didn't know the ending, and I was adding in a new character if like how the rest of the plot worked out, and it ends up being so much smoother than how it would be if that character was not there, which is like, what do you know? Isn't it crazy how whenever you add a new character that things work out? Crazy stuff. Answering some questions that I definitely had, like things that I should have had figured out, such as secrets, such as plot lines for certain characters, such as the ending, like where they all end up spatially and relationship wise at the end of the book, which I did not have figured out. But I chose it today because I was trying to figure out how I have like one leading romance in the book that is two characters who like weren't necessarily together before, but they like almost were, and then this whole thing happens. I was like, do they end up together? Are they? Does she stay in this town? Does she go back? And I decided what I wanted to do. But I do think that having this outline is really nifty. I think before I was really daunted by going back and editing it because I was like, I know there's things I want to change and there's things that don't work and I don't know what to do. But it's going really well. Except now I've hit a point where I'm like adding in more parts. And mind you, I already told you this thing was 15 parts. So at some point, some of these parts I've got to get nixed. Okay, or they gotta find a new place because there's no way we can have more than that. And one thing that I hated was that you would have like, or in the present part, you would go to this like cliffhanger, and then you go to a before that kind of helps like either piece together parts of the relationships and how they were, or things that you've already figured out, or they're like very timely to what is happening. So like you're like, I wonder about this, and then it's like, oh, so funny, you're curious. Did you know they have a backstory? Except it's not all backstory and it's not all explanation, but you get the vibe, right? And then you go into the next present part, and then boom, the problem that they had in the beginning at the present part before the before part, it's solved. And you want to know why? Because you run out of time with having before parts. It slows the whole thing down, but like I said before, my before parts are the best parts. And no, that doesn't mean that I'm going to take out all of the after parts and just write the before story, because it doesn't really work like that. I just like the way that they describe the present moment in a really good way, and I need them. And maybe they don't all need it. You know what I mean? I don't know, I think I need to cut some of them for sure, even though some of them are really good. And I like them. Oh, like this one I just turned to, can't cut it. It's so clean. Easy money. It's so good. It could be some of the best, like, writing, maybe not that I've ever done. Oh, like that part is really good, dude. I like that, and it can't be cut. And unfortunately, that's how it's looking, because it's like cutting kits. I don't even know. How do I pick a favorite? There's parts of it that need to happen to make the story go, and there's parts of them that I really like, and they need to be in the book because they're really good. I'm talking out my ass, but I'm reminding myself that I can do it because I'm a big girl, and I'm gonna put my big girl britches on, and I'm gonna get through this because I can. I made a list of problems and complications, and I figured those out. Mostly, he's just too evil too fast. It's just too obvious. And I'm worried I'm gonna forget that I did that. So I'm worried that I'm gonna forget is what I'm saying. I would go for this, okay? I cannot have a book this big. People will die. So yeah, making substantial progress. I still have about 22 pages left in the outline to go through. Anyway, I love you. Hope you enjoyed this writing video. If you'd like to see more, let me know. I love making them, and it helps me continue to do this. Bye.